Amanda, please roll call.
Ms. Soo Chung,
Present.
Mr. William Kim,
Here.
Mr. Anthony Kim,
Here.
Ms. Rebecca Lee. Here. Ms. Soo Kyung Park,
Yes.
Ms. Bo Young Lee,
Here.
Mr. Aaron Pack,
Here.
Mr. Jun Yim,
Here.
Mr. Sergio Kaye, Dr. Cirillo,
Here.
Bush Wilbur.
Here.
In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, I hereby state that notice of this regular meeting has been provided to the public by a written notice dated January 15, 2025. The meeting notice has been emailed to all staff members at the District 3 school locations, communicated to the record, filed with the Board of Clerk of Palisades Park. Now we will move on to the working session to review and discuss agenda and resolution. The first of the agenda is approving the board minute. We have two meeting minutes. One is December, and the newly elected board members, you don't need to vote on the December meeting minutes, but we have a real meeting as well. So if you have any discussion or request any correction, then please raise your hand or say something. Any discussion? Then let's move on to the finance. We have 12 consent agenda on finance. And the first one is to approve the food service vouchers. Second is the secretaries and treasurers financial reports. Third one is ratification of board secretaries monthly certification, budgetary line item status. Number 4 is to approve the payroll of December 20, 2024 and January 15, 2025. Number 5 is to approve the bill list of January 2025. Right, this is, so it's a typo, right? This is January 2025.
Correct.
Okay. Number 6 is to approve the transfers in our one. And number 7, student activity accounts. Number 8, tuition reimbursements to our staff members for their workshops. And number 9 is staff member visitation and workshops too. So okay. So number 10 is donation acceptance from the Korean Consulate General in New York. Number 11 is acceptance of FY is a fiscal year, what is that?
Correct.
Yeah, fiscal year 2024 audit and annual comprehensive financial reports. Number 12 is audit corrective action plan, fiscal year of 2024. Do you have any questions and comments, discussion?
Wait, so the finance
Yep.
committee has just been appointed, so were they able to review all this before?
I actually, so me as a board president and the vice president were invited to the finance meeting yesterday, Tuesday. We usually, hold a finance meeting on Monday of the week where we have the board meeting of the month. But since the Monday was the holiday, so we met yesterday, but our Vice President, Mr. William Kim, wasn't able to attend, so instead, I invited our tentative finance chair, Mr. Jun Lim, so we had a finance meeting. although we have our finance meeting that I wasn't, because of my limitation, the hours that I was there, so I didn't raise all the questions to you, Dr. Cirillo. So number 5, I forgot to say that in our bill list.
Yep.
I don't recall that, because we discussed it before this month. But the same question that, can that bill list be categorized by type of business instead of alphabet?
Yeah, I think we discussed it, and I don't wanna speak out of place without Mr. Kondowski being here tonight, but as we alphabeticalized, all of our vendors on the bill list, there are times that multiple vendors, the same vendor may appear multiple times.
Right.
So I think it might be easier to export this onto an Excel spreadsheet for the purposes you're asking, but because the system generates it a certain way, I'm not sure that we can,
Okay.
run
But
that
this
report.
alphabetical was not really, it wasn't always like this. It
No,
was,
this was a recommendation by the finance committee to do it alphabetical, so it was easier to see it.
You mean the finance committee of our board?
Yes, Mr. Shin made that at one of our
No,
committee
I
meetings.
thought this alphabet, he's requesting the opposite way. I have to call Mr. Shin to verify, but I think it will be very easier to go see the same category, type of the business. For example, if it's the same type of business like reimbursing to the parents for the payments in lieu for their transportation for their kids, like the parent's name come out if, for example, if her name is Amy, A comes up in the A, and the other parents who were under English or School of English, English school, then it will be categorized in E section. So it's the same type of payments, it's spread out by alphabetical order. So it's a little hard to.
Well, all of the school of choice
Right.
students are all categorized under aid and low, so they're all actually in the same area. I'm not sure if I understand your request.
Right, but there's another like name, what page is it? H?
Page H,
Yeah, no, 7.
7.
That's also transfer reimbursed too, but it's labeled, or it's categorized by the parent's name.
But this is not a school of choice reimbursement. This is a special education transportation agreement with the
Right.
parent.
Right, but that's a kind of the reimbursement to their transportation. So, but before I record that they were kind of categorized the same page. So we see how much the budget was placed to the reimbursement of transportation that we could easily navigate, but now all the information spread out, for us, it's harder to understand. But that's too much work for the administrator. I think I will talk to the finance board members in the committee, then should be okay, but just don't understand why it has been changed to this way.
Yeah, I don't know the system like the business administrator does. I don't wanna speak for him.
Yeah,
We
but
can follow up with this.
Okay, so, but I think I remember what Mr. Shin asked, and it was same as what I just,
Okay.
explained. And also number 11, that's, okay, number 10, the donation of the Korean Consulate General in New York.
Yes,
I don't recall last year the amounts for the
I believe the amounts are the same as last year.
Lindeberg, was it
I
5,000?
believe it's the same as last year, yes. I can double check that and get back to you.
And then the donation for the 2024 to 2025, because usually general consulate, they donate for the year of like January. It's different from our school fiscal year. And when it says the donation for the 2024, 2025, do you think that's our school year?
It's to be spent by June 30th, 2025. I
Okay, so
can't
you're
tell them when
ready.
to make that donation, but, whenever they make it to us, I'm grateful to receive it on behalf of the board. But it is for the school year 24-25.
Okay, and we didn't receive it yet, or?
We did receive it. We have
We
to
haven't received.
we have to memorialize it by way of accepting those resolutions.
Okay,
So they sent us a check, they sent us, how we should spend those funds, just like years past, and they are to be spent by June 30, 2025.
For number 10.
Yes.
I mean, not 10, 11.
Yes.
For these, I haven't reviewed this.
Yep.
So is that something we can table, or is there assurance that it's been reviewed thoroughly, or?
So ultimately, I don't think anyone's had the opportunity to review it. I think the PDF that was shared, I always refer to the audit as the big book and the small book. The small book, I don't expect anyone to read this yet. If you did, I'd like to hang out with you if you have that time. But I know Mr. Weiss from BKC is here with us tonight. I'm sure we could table number 11. There is no requirement for us to accept it tonight. We can do that next month. But with regard to the corrective action in consultation with Mr. Weiss, we trust their firm. We trust that their findings are necessary. We've already implemented some of them, so hopefully they are not going to reappear. As far as the accepting of the audit and the comprehensive financial report, I'm going to defer to the attorney. Is there any requirement that they accept it tonight, or can that be tabled?
I'm not aware of any requirement that has to be done tonight.
To the best of my knowledge, audits are not even required of boards of education, is that right?
I'm not sure about that, I think they are required.
I don't know, but you might be right, I could be wrong, but regardless, if they're not required, the acceptance is probably not even mandatory, so regardless, we don't have to move on it tonight. I don't have to submit anything to Trenton tomorrow, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Aaron, that's homework for you. We gotta find out if they're required.
Pretty sure they
Google knows.
so this number 11, the audit annual comprehensive financial report, it was like 160 pages that was shared yesterday. Honestly, I didn't have a chance to read, but thanks to Mr. Wise, they brought the summary here. But since we have 4 reports, and I think that many board members may have no chance to look up,
Google knows.
so
They are required.
your best.
are. That was best.
Yeah, but you live with your homework, right? So I'd like to table number 11 out of 12 consent agenda. So, but we can decide in our regular session later.
What about 12?
In my understanding, a little difference. This is corrective action plan of 2024, and I mean, it was just 2 pages,
It's not related
and
to
there are
the-
just some languages are actually the repetitive findings from prior years as well.
Okay.
So for me, it's pretty familiar, so I'm okay to approve it, but it's up to you guys to.
I think maybe also if I can add, after hearing Mr. Weiss in my report, no formal action will be taken until he's completed. So I'm sure maybe he can satisfy some of your concerns. Again, I'm not asking anyone to move on something they're not comfortable with. The good news is he will speak under my report. Any and all formal action will be taken thereafter.
Any other discussion in finance?
Can I request that the treasurer's report be printed and provided monthly at the meeting?
Printed, not in the drive?
Yeah.
No problem.
That's the one pager usually, right?
Yep,
Thank you.
I will make note of that. Amanda, please, thank you.
That's number
It's number 2.
2.
Bill, do you wanna see it? I have it here if you wanna see it, just for edification.
Any other questions? Let's move on to building and grounds. And I don't see any agenda resolution. Let's move on to personnel.
Personnel, number one, home instruction teachers.
Well, I think I would,
Oh.
I'm sorry, I didn't address that we didn't vote for we didn't approve the list of the chair and the chair committee members yet, so let me introduce the agenda first, and then, I'm sorry, but thanks to do it, I wish you could do it too. Personnel, we have 6 consent agenda. First one is your home instruction teachers. There are 2 teachers to be recommended by superintendents to approve the following home instructions. And number 2 is the clinical placement request. Number 3 is appointment of staff. There are 3 steps, like daily substitute, the part-time custodian, and permanent substitute. Number 4, Title 1 and JSLA, Academy After School Program Substitute. And number 5 is a head football coach to be appointed. And number 6, assistant software coach. Do you have any questions or any discussion on personnel? If not,
Dr. Sherman,
Yes, ma'am.
was there a resignation from the current football coach?
No, all positions are annually evaluated and or appointed and reappointed.
Okay,
But no, the answer is no.
alright, thank you.
any other discussion?
Wait, so he's still there or?
As the coach?
Yeah.
No longer.
Okay.
If the new coach is hired.
But there's no question. Next is education. We have only one agenda for field trip. There's 2 field trips, and one is to Bolero. It says, I think it's bowling, and it's a 5th grade. And the other is Bergen Community College, right, Forest Group. Any questions? Next, negotiations, and I don't see any agenda. Policy, I don't see any agendas too. Usually school board liaison, and then county school board liaison, or school safety and security committees. We don't have agendas to approve tonight. The order business was the last where we just shared the last minute. I don't know if you look up the shared folder that was updated yesterday. There are, where is it? I have a, we have a tax money underpaid, that was underpaid, school year 21 to 22. And this has been raised for request the borrower to pay or reimburse, but it has not yet, so we are asking board members, because I don't think I bring it up actually in public or share it all about the members as well, neither. So this, just explain the basis. So we had our former auditor who was hired with us for past 5 years, correct?
Approximately.
Okay. And then 2022, we have changed the new auditor in 2022. And then I think the reports came out of that. And so when the auditor goes audit, that usually is the past year, past the school year calendar. and that was 2021, 2022. There are 54,221.22 cents were not paid to the school district. So I think Mr. Kondowski, our business administrator, sent the letter to Boro in 2023 February, but we didn't get it back. So I sent it out email 3 times past the year, including all our finance board members and superintendents, business administrator, and Boro side mayor council and their CFO and their business administrator. So we will raise this again, and the actual mayor is well aware, and then so they are willing to help. What the reason that I bring it up, because I'm going to resend it, including the newly appointed business administrator in the borough as well, and maybe this week or next week, including our staff and then board members. And Dr. Cirillo and then Mr. Kondowski is not here, but please follow up after my email to this email. And then I'm pretty sure their business administrator, her name is Ms. Roberta Stern. She will follow up as well too. So I'm just to make this information to all board members that you are aware of it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, like, how come they didn't catch this before that? I don't understand why they shot this down. They lost money then.
It was caught. If I can just add a little bit of information on this, and I think Ms. Chung did a good job in touching upon it. So, Mr. Weiss, who's in the audience again for his findings of our past school year, when they were retained, they did find that we were short $54,221.22. Shortly, again, the month is January, so the timing when Mr. Kondowski reached out to the borough in February of that time, it's similar to where we are now, after our findings, after our presentation of the audit. It fell on deaf ears. I can't answer as to why we were short. I can tell you that we have not given up hope that we are still owed 54,000 and change. Clearly, multiple attempts, including our board president, for the last year, it sounds like, has reached out. We are still not compensated that amount. The long and short of it is, we're not gonna just walk away from it. It's owed to us, it's owed to our schools. So ultimately, I'll be more than happy to follow up with the new borough administrator and or the mayor and council, CFO, whomever we need to, because.
Can we make a date and just go visit the mayor and say, hey, you know?
Sure, you're a taxpayer, we can do anything we want. Ultimately, the mayor and council need to approve a resolution authorizing a payment of this amount of money from that year. That's it, it's not that difficult, I can't answer to it.
Mr. Shin is there too now, so he has, you know, he should do something, right?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Just to clarify to your question, Mr. Lee, so you are asking if possible to go on the past years for 25 years, right? I don't know, I might ask Mr. Wise there later on if it's possible for the special auditing for the past 25 years of the same auditor with the municipal audit.
And I'm wondering why Mr. Weiss caught it while the previous guy didn't catch it, so are we missing out on more money?
Well, I think
The
that's
school
what-
probably needs, they
Yeah.
probably need for better education anyway, so.
Thank you. That reminds me that I need to explain as well. I don't know if the sitting board members remember that in September 2024, the board enacted the policy that the school district ban and prohibit the borough auditor to be appointed to the school as a school auditor at the same time. This was the basis of it. That's why I made a motion to the end of the pass. So, yeah. And do you have any questions? So the board's special audit is, we can discuss it, and then we might need the professional opinion as well too. I actually don't know about the audit much, so. But thank you for bringing that concerns. Any other discussions? And there's the, okay. So new business, there's three new businesses. One is, well, two, you will not see it here because I brought it last minute today. But the first one is the committee appointments. I took some survey of your interest to be, which committee to be, which committee you want to be belong to, and also based on my opinion or my knowledge about your talents and interest. So if there's any things you want us to discuss or any request to change, then please tell me. And if not, this is our committee structures. And the other agenda on the new business is, it's a separate sheet that I just put on the table. Some board members I explained and the basis of the reason why I brought this. But this is about to amend or add just one or two sentences of existing policies. So I'm going to read it and then you can raise your question and discussion later. So the new business policy revisions be resolved. The Palisades Board of Education amended by law 93-22 to add paragraph F, electronic communication among board members. F. Well, we currently have E, A to E, so we're adding provision F. School district provided board member emails may only be accessed through proper procedure in adherence to the Open Public Record Act by all parties, including district administration and employees. Be it resolved, the Palisades Park Board of Education amended policy 64-12.10, district rights and responsibilities. The current existing language is, the computer system is the property of the district and all computer software and hardware belongs to it. Therefore, the district retains the right to monitor all access to and use of the internet. So we want to be revised this language to the computer system is the property of the district and all computer software and hardware belongs to it. Therefore, the district retains the right to monitor all access to and use of the internet. For the avoidance of the doubt, the right to monitor does not provide arbitrary access by administration and employees to school district provide board members email. Report to bylaw 93-22F, which I just explained above. And district employees, IT or otherwise, and administration should not cause the alteration or deletion of emails or other IT logs without prior approval by the board. The second revision is, it's not revision, but let's go by one. Do you have any questions and discussion regarding this? Because I'm going to make a motion to approve this new policy, to amend this policy in regular session. So if you have any discussion, let's talk. If not, the number 2, new business, well, this is not number 2, it's number 3. The new business agenda is to create a committee. It's called Evaluation Advisory Committee. Be it resolved that the Palisades Park Board of Education approves the establishment of the Evaluation Advisory Standing Committee to develop and oversee the effective system for evaluating the chief school administrator, principals, assistant principals, vice principals, business administrator, teaching staff, and other district employees when appropriate. The committee is in collaboration with the board presidents to implement the policies 2030, 2131, and 4116 by creating evaluation rubrics, conducting an annual summary conference to assess performances, progress, and the student achievements, preparing a written report for review and approval by the full board, and or carrying out additional related responsibilities as needed. And for your information, the policy 2131, as you might have seen it, and then, so this is about the evaluation to our school staff, which is the policy that our board has. And then we are, the evaluation advisory committee is not a new word, it actually was recommended and requested by the policy that we have. So do you have any questions?
Chung, I do.
Yeah.
Being that I just saw this for the first time as I got here tonight,
Okay,
I'm curious, number one, who is going to be on this committee?
this one, or the
Yeah, the advisory committee, who will be on
Yeah, it will
this?
be consistent with, because I looked at the policy, it doesn't really designate what person, but I believe definitely it's board members and maybe administrators, teachers. Because this is different from the panel, like I forgot the name of the term that also they are recommended, but the evaluation advisory committee, I believe this is the board members.
So my concern is,
Yeah.
we are fully in compliance with any Teach NJ regulations regarding evaluation. The board, to the best of my knowledge, does not have the right to evaluate teachers, principals, assistant principals. Again, I could be completely wrong here tonight, but to the best of my knowledge, again, unless it's broken, we don't necessarily have to fix it, we can tweak it. But this sounds like it's a new policy on creating a committee. I just wanna make sure we are compliant, number one. We have annual summary conferences, we do progress, again, maybe we need to discuss this further, I'm just a little confused on the whole thing.
Right, maybe it might not match to the, as a board member, our knowledge or experience too. So probably if you prefer, you're suggesting us to discuss more?
Yeah, I just don't know, again, I'm not opposed to it, obviously I'll do whatever the board is asking us to do, so long that we're in compliance. Obviously, there's a chain of command and protocols and procedures, within Teach NJ. And there are regulations that the Department of Education has. I believe it might be an interference in the event board members are in a building to evaluate anything more than their responsibility on this dais tonight and any other night.
I think you'd be right about that. I'm not sure that, and obviously Ms. Kern will tell us exactly what it was that is intended by this, but I too am just saying for the first time tonight, but my understanding is if we look at the policies that are referenced in there, like 2130, that talks about the principal evaluation, and the board already has a policy regarding the principal evaluation. So my understanding is that the idea of the committee is not meant to do more than the board is already doing, but to designate a subset of the board to focus on that the role that's already there and to oversee, and so certainly that would not include actual evaluation of staff members other than you, if that's what was intended by this. I'm not sure it is, but could entail overseeing things like the rubrics that are used and talking to you and making sure that any updates to Teach NJ or anything else like that are incorporated and up until that line.
We
where-
created a district evaluation advisory committee years ago when the evaluation system in New Jersey was overhauled. There were requirements that parents be on it, that teachers be on it, that union members be on it. Again, I think we need to just discuss this further. I'm not trying to, I report to the board, so ultimately, so long we're in compliance and you advise us that this is okay to do, who am I to say differently?
So all the details and your concerns and recommendations and your questions, we can start with these committees and then you can obviously start with us in the committee as well.
Yeah, let me look at the
Because
policies, if you don't
Yeah.
mind, the existing
Sure.
ones, and then I think if we talk further and just dissect them one at a time, and
Yeah.
maybe add to the existing policies,
Right.
and maybe I'm misunderstanding this
Oh, this
completely,
is
but,
not, yeah, word, this is just to create a committee to focus on, as our attorney says, I know there is a many, the policies are long, like,
yes.
don't know if I jot down.
Do you know if any other district is doing this, or are we trying to,
on
be at the
this
forefront, you know?
Evaluation of the budget committee.
Yeah.
That there was actually, stated in our policy that was requested, that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I
where
think
it
it's
was.
what I just referred to, the DIAC, we refer to it as the District Evaluation Advisory Committee. When I was it was my first year, I think, as superintendent, we had to create that because that's when we went to the strong model. I don't know if we wanna tweak it, that was obviously 12 years ago, so maybe there's some language that needs to be updated. But I know there's a clause in that we are obviously bound and required to comply with any and all evaluation rights in the state of New Jersey.
Okay, just one paragraph, so maybe, I don't know if that would help, but.
Which
Chief-
policy is this one?
This is policy 4116,
Yes.
that's the second page where it's, just indicated, but this is,
Evaluation of teaching staff.
right. A chief school administrator directs the development of and oversees the district evaluation policies and procedures requiring an annual evaluation of all teaching staff members. The chief school administrator may consult with the district advisory evaluation committee or representatives from school improvement panels. These school improvement panels, I understand, well, in my knowledge, I think this includes the teaching staffs.
That is correct.
The chief school administrator shall direct the development and oversee, and there's other provisions below this.
Yes, I see it.
Yeah, this is a kind of the policy that I brought up, and
Yeah.
then this is, well, again, like I don't know if I'm summarizing what my concerns or what's the nature of me to bring this up, but seeing all the negotiation process and my conversation with our administrators, and we have a different negotiation with different collective bargaining unit or individuals. I think this evaluation accurate and in detail that will help us to go further transparent and impartial process of negotiation, and then we want it to be effective.
Okay.
Not time consuming.
I understand. Okay.
Do you
Well,
have any-
I'm glad you brought that up because there is obviously in that paragraph, the chief school administrator may consult with the district advisory evaluation committee. It should be the district evaluation advisory committee, but, I definitely, I'm gonna look at all three of these policies in the next couple of days and
Okay,
I definitely will confer with you further.
sorry that didn't mean to
No, it's okay.
surprise you.
No,
You
I
had
didn't see it
a
before.
vacation last week and there's another holiday on Monday,
It's
and then
okay.
I was busy as well. So I just brought this language today, and then I'm sorry for all the board members for last minute, sharing of my new agendas. And there's third one, actually, I wanna add one more thing that I'm going to make a motion later on. That is that it's nice here too. When I was busy, I sometimes forgot to add on and request our board secretary to updates. But, I'm going to request and make a motion that all the contract of our school employee reflected on our website, because that is a public record and it has to be easily accessed to our community members. So that's it. So do you have any questions and discussion? There are actually 4 agenda and resolution on the new business. First is, well, I'm going to actually go again in our regular session before we take a formal action. But so far, if you have any questions, please do so. If not, we have a motion to close working session and open to the regular session.
Motion.
All in favor? No abstention, no objection. Okay, so our regular session starts with board present reports. I just wanna thank the PTA for the dance events last Friday, January 17th, and thank you for inviting me too. I wish other board members were there too. It was really such a great time, and I'm not good at entertaining people, but you guys do. It was an absolute joy to all members, staff members and teachers, and then you PTA members, and mostly children and their parents. It was great. Thank you. So Dr. Cedar, you have superintendent reports for our
Yes.
audit presentation.
Three items before I get to Mr. Weiss, and I thank you for sitting so patiently. First and foremost, as I've been given updates every month, pretty much, I'm very pleased to announce that last Wednesday, we had our new preschool orientation for the 2 new pre-K classrooms at the Lindbergh Elementary School. These are not my words, but the words of the administration, the faculty members. It was by far the smoothest first 2 days of school that we could have envisioned in the month of January. Fortunately enough, Thursday and Friday, the kids acclimated to Lindbergh Elementary. They had a nice 3-day weekend like the rest of us, but we are, again, very grateful. We've met all requirements for the Department of Ed. We've received any and all waivers. I'm very pleased with the work of the contractors. It really, Ms. Chung and I were there. We met with parents last week. All in all, I'm just grateful that that project is now behind us, and we can move on to other items that are of vital importance. Second, as we have been discussing for many a months, I am very pleased to announce we have a student rep as selected and voted on by the students of the junior senior high school. There is criteria, as we've all updated in our policy. Mr. Tyler Jung, seated to my left, will be joining us on a monthly basis. When Tyler is not available, his alternate is second in command, we'll call her, Valerie Ramirez, who was voted a very close second. So it was a very good vote, and again, very good showing of democracy in our school. So I formally would like to introduce Tyler to you. I've asked Tyler to say a few words, introduce himself. I hope he speaks nice and loud. So welcome. Enjoy yourself. You have about 6 months to go.
Hello everyone. So I just want to say a couple words. So I'm really thankful and I'm excited to be a part of this position. And I want to thank you all for coming here today and for the support.
They're here for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm ready.
Thank you, Tyler. Tyler's a sophomore at the junior senior high school. And as a reminder, what we did decide, and I think it was best practice by the board, Tyler will fill this position again with Valerie as an alternate in the event he can't make it through June. We've asked that in July, well, probably at the end of this school year, we would ask for a new runoff, if we call it that, for next school year. But again, we are going to go with the school calendar versus a fiscal annual January through December. We're gonna run it concurrent to our school calendar of July 1 through June 30. So welcome, good luck, anything you need, please be in touch. Last but not least, Mr. Jonathan Weiss from BKC had the pleasure of working out of our wonderful conference room, AKA Garage. Jonathan was accustomed to it. It was his second go around. I thank he and his team for their patience, their oversight. I don't want to steal any of your thunder, but in my 12 years as superintendent, I can tell you wholeheartedly this was the first and hope many more times to come, even better than this. It's probably our best audit, and I'm going to leave it to you. And when I say best, it's obviously due to the number of suggestions in the past and recommendations that we've implemented to better our accounting business end of it. So please, if Jonathan, you want to share with the board and the public a few words and your findings and the process.